here's a little response to my place my car in a trust video that I posted recently. A couple of responses on there that I'll reply to them, but the response is, when we're placing the car in trust, okay, it means we don't own the house, the car. The car is owned by a trust, and when you have a trust that holds ownership in property, it means there's multiple players, so they can't just go after you. They can try going after the trust, but when you assign it to an irrevocable, that makes it bulletproof from creditors. Now, like I said in the video, they can only give tickets and make claims against you if you have a victim, right? If you have a victim, you've harmed somebody, damaged someone's property, yes, they can absolutely make claims going after a trust or whoever, because there's damage to property. Remember, they have jurisdiction over drivers who are operating in commerce. They're just regulating commerce, right? So anyone who gets the driver's license, especially in their straw man name, because I don't know if there's a driver's license in a trust name, like you're not going to see a picture of a piece of paper or a trust. The driver's license is always the straw man. So when you get that driver's license, you're essentially saying, I am operating in commerce. And I am that all caps fiction, that guy is me. That's what they say. Is that you? You're saying, I am a piece of plastic and I'm a driver, which means I'm operating in commerce, which means I'm subject to your statutes and codes. People don't think. People, before they make comments, they don't think, or they're just too brain dead when they are making these comments. So, first of all, if I was pulled over and whatever, I would say, what evidence do you have that I'm driving rather than just traveling? If you look up the code, the definition of driving by their definition, the definitions that they're using to define what a driver is, it's essentially participating in commerce. You're transporting goods for income, right? You're transporting property, people, or goods for income. It's something to that nature. That's driving. So what evidence do you have that I'm driving and thus under the jurisdiction of your statutes and codes? If I'm traveling in my automobile privately that's held in trust, the state has no jurisdiction over you if you don't have any victims and you haven't damaged any property. That is the point. What's been happening is they're giving tickets for infractions and code violations. They're just administering people's estate. They're just robbing them when there's victimless crimes, right? You parking in some area, they said you can only park 2 hours and you parked 3 hours. There's no one damaged there, right? There's no property damage. No one got harmed. Certainly the state didn't get harmed. There's no victim, right? So they give you a $225 ticket. You have to pay that. They have jurisdiction over you to make that claim over you because you have a driver's license. They look up the title in their system and they see, oh, it's in the straw man name, right? They're making the presumption based on your driver's license, your registration, and how that vehicle is titled, the ownership. If it's in your straw man name, they're making a presumption that you're a driver because you went and got a driver's license. And remember, driving means participating in commerce, transporting goods, property, people, service, whatever. You're operating in commerce. And they're regulating commerce with their statutes and codes. Okay? So when they look up that title and they try to give you an infraction or ticket or whatever, and they see that that title of that car is held in a trust, And they don't have any jurisdiction over a trust because the beneficiary of that trust, they could be 12 attorneys that they don't want to mess with. They don't know. That is the bulletproof concept behind trusts. There's multiple parties and private contracts involved, so they don't know who they're messing with. So they can give a ticket. They can give a ticket for parking 3 hours in a 2 hour. They can give a ticket for going 80 miles an hour in a 70 miles an hour. That's fine. You can give me the ticket. What I'm saying is they don't have any evidence that I'm driving. I'm not participating in commerce. So the statutes and codes of all these victimless crimes don't apply to me. Okay? Now, if I did cause damage to property, I hurt someone, I hit someone, yeah, absolutely. Me as the trustee and my trust would be, there would be a valid claim against me. But for victimless crimes, where they have no evidence that I am participating in commerce, I'm just a low-level account manager, and this car is in trust, and it's all for the benefit of the church, okay? And I am not participating in commerce. I'm just traveling privately in my automobile. And if I parked 2.5 hours in a 2 hour zone and you're going to give me a ticket, what I'm saying is you now have standing to fight that ticket or infraction. Why? Because the state does not have jurisdiction over trusts. They only have jurisdiction over the straw man and the driver's license, because they're making that presumption that you're participating in commerce and they're regulating commerce. Wrap your head around that. And don't comment on my YouTube page if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Just move on to the next video that you were scrolling through and came across. Otherwise, I'll block you. We don't have time for dumbass comments, dumbass uneducated people who haven't looked into things. If things don't make sense to you, research it deeper. What I'm doing is allowing you to absorb the path that I'm taking. Years ago, when I first started studying all this, notice of liability and all this stuff, I didn't fully grasp everything. And you don't have to know everything right when you learn something. You just absorb it, you take it in, you write notes down, and then you research things deeper that don't make sense to you. The reason why they've been getting around on everybody is because they've hoodwinked everyone into thinking that everyone's driving, and by their definition, that only would be Uber, taxi, FedEx, all these UPS drivers. They are participating in commerce. If they go over the speed limit or something, yeah, you can give them a ticket, and they don't really have standing or capacity to get out of that ticket. But for someone who has a victimless crime and that car is registered in a trust, which is a private contract that, again, they have no jurisdiction over, and it's not registered with the state. The trust is not registered with the state. So again, that's another piece of evidence that they don't have jurisdiction over it, because if you register something, you're essentially saying, here, you're the legal title holder for this property. So the state is not the legal title holder in my trust or my property, and I can prove it. And they have no evidence that I'm participating in commerce and driving. So you dumb fucking commenters saying, oh, go before the judge and say, oh, but my thing's in the trust, I'll get the ticket thrown out. No, I'm saying is what I would do is respond to that and get it thrown the fuck out. If it's a victimless crime, and because they don't have any evidence that I'm participating in commerce and they don't have any jurisdiction over my trust. Just absorb things and study them deeper rather than making stupid fucking comments.